Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Midlands African Chamber's Power Hour Business Development Virtual Live Stream, proudly presented by Google. Thank you for joining us today for a very special edition titled Bridging Global Bridges, MAC's Trade Mission to West Africa. I am Fidel Mieso, the CEO of MAC, and I will be your host today. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with you all about the exciting trade mission that MAC has been working on to strengthen business ties between Nebraska and West Africa. Today, we'll be diving deep into the significance of international trade, exploring the immense potential of West African markets, and understanding how we can bridge gaps in both commerce and culture. This initiative is all about building lasting relationships that will benefit businesses and community on both sides of the globe. Before we dive in, let me encourage everyone to share your thoughts, questions, and comments throughout the session in the chat. Our expert guests will be addressing them as we go along, and we want to ensure that you leave today with valuable insights and actionable takeaways. Now, let's take a moment to talk about why this trade mission to West Africa is so important. West Africa is a region brimming with opportunities, from fast-growing economies, a young and dynamic population, to its abundant natural resources. Countries like Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso are positioning themselves as key players on the global stage. MAC's Trade Mission is a unique opportunity to explore these markets, foster new partnerships, and unlock the potential of cross-continental trade. The region's growing infrastructure, coupled with Nebraska's strong reputation in sectors like agriculture, technology, and natural resources, makes it a perfect match for collaboration. Together, we can open new doors for innovation and investment. I am honored to have with us today some incredible experts who are deeply involved in the mission and who will provide you with some first-hand insights into this exciting opportunity. Let me introduce our guests. First up, we have Ms. Karine Sokpoh, who is the visionary founder and CEO of the Midlands African Chamber, a trailblazer in law, advocacy, and community empowerment. She is the driving force behind Forward to Legal, specializing in immigration, international law, and corporate matters. Thank you for joining us today.
Good evening, Fidel. Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing today? It is always a pleasure for me to be back with you during Power Hour. Fidel, are you running the PowerPoint?
Yes.
You want to switch the screen?
Sure.
Thank you. Ouedraogo will be joining us in just a minute. He's running a little bit behind today, but thank you so much for the warm welcome, Fidel. Whenever, we have a chance to talk with our MAC members, it's always a delightful experience for me. And coming back onto Power Hour, it's been almost a year since I've been with you on Power Hour. So thank you for having me back and to discuss such an exciting topic. You know, I'm a travel geek, and I am a big fan of business. So whenever I can combine those two passions of mine, it's always a fun time. So thank you for having me with you today. Johnow, as I say, is joining us right now. Oh, here he is.
Yes, here it is. John, can you please turn on your camera so we can see your face?
So he's still in transit. Hi, John.
Yes. Hi, Karine. Hi, Fidel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. Let me go ahead and introduce John very quickly. John is one of the founding members of the Midlands African Chamber, and he's also the chair of the MAC Global Trade Mission Committee. He is also a U.S. Armed Forces veteran and a licensed real estate professional with extensive experience in both the U.S. and the West African markets. Thank you so much for joining us, John.
Thank you, Fidel.
You're welcome. So, Karine, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Did you? I think we went forward a little bit too fast. So go back a little bit. One more. Here we go. All right. So I am, as Fidel said, the CEO of the Midlands African Chamber. But you may or may not know this. I grew up in Togo, West Africa. Omaha has been home now for 25 years. But my background is in law, being a lawyer, but my first degree is in business, having grown up in Togo and having obtained my first degree in Togo. But my very first foray in business was on founding a magazine with some of my co-founders while at the university in Togo, and being a co-founder of that magazine and drumming up business. So being in business in Togo, as a co-founder of a magazine and drumming up advertising for it was my very first business, my very first business as an adult there in Togo. And then later on, continuing with that, having a business selling purses and so on and so forth before that. But owning this law firm here in Omaha now since 2011 for True Legal, and then being the head of the chamber now for 5 years. So that is my background. But having grown up in Togo, then moving to Omaha 25 years ago, helping businesses here in Omaha establish themselves, creating them, helping them with their intellectual property matters, and also helping them have a presence overseas, since my specialization when I was in law school is in international and comparative law. So that's in a nutshell is my background. So that's why I really enjoy working with businesses that want to establish a presence overseas. Right after law school, I worked with a law firm where most of my work was helping businesses that have trademarks overseas. So I help protect marks on all 5 continents. And that was a very exciting part of my work. And I still do that type of work to this day. So I really enjoy working with businesses that want to establish footprints in countries other than their own. You are muted, Fidel.
Thank you. That is awesome, Karine. That's a very good background. It tells us that you really know what you're talking about and what you're doing, and we're very excited to hear all that you have to share with us regarding the church mission today. John, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background?
All right, Johnow Enterprises. So I have previously background in public. I do have a bachelor degree in business law from University of Burkina Faso, University of Ouedraogo in Burkina Faso. Then I also have a bachelor's degree in international security and intelligence. So I have served in Nebraska National Guard from 2016 to 2019. Then from there, I switched to real estate. In 2019, I got my license. Started to help families building wealth by purchasing houses, selling their houses, and also helping investors in purchasing investment properties in Nebraska. I do have a real estate company, Johnow Enterprises LLC, and I also have a real estate agency in Burkina Faso called Flex Immobilier. Previously, I was the president of the Association of Burkinabe in Nebraska from 2022 to 2024, and now I'm board member to the Midlands African Chamber and in the committee for the global trade.
Awesome. Great. Thank you all both for sharing your background with us. I don't want to wait any further. Let's dive right in. So, Karine, what inspired Mark to initiate the 2025 trade mission to Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso, and what impact do you hope to achieve? We cannot hear you, Karine. Sorry. Still can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Trying to unmute myself and
Sorry.
fumbling with it a little bit. Thank you. And John, you also own a company in Burkina Faso, right? You own business in Burkina Faso yourself as well.
Yes, Karine. Yes, I do. Flex Immobilier.
Yes. And how
Talk
long
about
have
it.
you had that?
I created Flex Immobilier 3 years ago.
Excellent.
3 years ago, and we are in property management and also working into getting in real estate development.
Awesome. So, for Mark, we are the Midlands African Chamber and we empower, connect, and champion businesses in Nebraska and the Midwest. So, as part of our mission already, we have that vision to empower African-owned businesses and also African American businesses in this area. And so, as part of that, we wanted to also build a bridge with Black businesses in the diaspora. So, not only in the US, but also in the global diaspora in Africa, across the pond, but everywhere that where Black people may be found. And so, with that in mind, we started building relationships with other chambers across the ocean in Africa, but also in the globe, in the US, in other states. So we became a member of the US Black Chambers, the USBC, and started building relationships with the GABA in Michigan. We started building relationships with the Atlanta Black Chambers, the ABC Chambers, and with chambers all over the country and abroad. And so, with that, with that in mind, we have started this process 2 years ago. And last year, we traveled to Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso, and also to Kenya. John, myself, and Philip Bruce, also Phil Bruce, and also Laban Juguna, our board co-chair. All of us were on the continent last year. The year before that, Phil Bruce, myself, and Laban Juguna were part of a trade mission of the Secretary of State to Dubai and to Jordan. To experience how those are done. So this is really a 2-year process. But to answer your question in a more direct manner, Africa is emerging really as the next global economic powerhouse with 1.7 billion projected consumers by 2030. Let that sink in. 1.7 billion projected consumers. That means that if there are businesses that really want to expand, there's no way they can afford to ignore Africa. So, with that being said, our mission puts MAC in a unique position to give its members key access to those markets, helping them build credibility, gain insights, and we do have the expertise to help them form those partnerships and help them have long-term success. You are muted, Fidel.
Thank you so much, Karine, for just giving us that background and just letting us know how Mark even started and why we wanted to do this trade mission. It gives our viewers an opportunity to understand why this is important to them and how they can also gain from it. So, John, who can participate and what benefits can they expect?
So any business can participate, any person can participate into this trade mission. And I would like to say that MAC members, members of the Midlands African Chamber, have a they have a reduction of $200 on the participation fee. So the benefit of this trade is that, especially for, let's say, for small businesses, usually they struggle to enter a market. So going through this trade, uh, Mark will prepare the ground, make connections, and facilitate B2B networking. So it's just beneficial for them to participate to enter those markets in Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso through the trade mission because of the direct connection they'll be making, compared to when, if someone wants to just go on their own, trying to reach out to the right people. It's not that easy, and it can be costly, time consuming, and money consuming as well, and without no guarantee that you'll be able to make those connections that you're looking for.
Thank you, John. You mentioned something that is very important. Just creating those relationships and making sure that they are sustainable. They are sustainable because there's only so much you can do by yourself alone. But when you go with a larger group, especially the Chamber of Commerce, who has already those relationships already established, it gives you so much more opportunity. So yes, thanks for touching up on that.
Absolutely. And then there are also, Fidel, one thing I want to mention too, you had that on the screen prior. There are some key sectors that we are focusing on during this trade mission. And we had looked at some of these sectors, like agriculture and agribusiness. Africa holds 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. So, and Nebraska, as we all know, is agriculture is a big part of the business sector here in Nebraska. So that's a key synergy during our exploration visits last year and this year. That's one key point that we see that we have between Nebraska businesses and African businesses, especially West African businesses. Energy and renewable energy is another one. There's high demand for solar, wind, and hydro solution in Africa right now, and they are looking for the technology. Nebraska has a lot of know-how in that area. So there's a lot of synergy there as well. Well, fintech and digital payments, that is booming. Africa has a really young population. There's a high demand for more mobile and really tech savvy type of payment systems because that population is apt to use those things, and they are quite hungry for it. So there's a lot of opportunity in that, in those sectors, logistics and infrastructures as well. And those countries, Burkina Faso, Togo, Ghana, are making major investments in transport and trade routes right now, as well as real estate and healthcare. So, and mining as well offers a lot of opportunity because of the natural resources in Africa in general.
Thank you for highlighting those key points, Karine. It's very important for our audience and anyone who is interested in this trade mission to know the different sectors, that are going to be discussed during this trade, and so that they know how to prepare themselves. Thank you. My next question will be: how does cultural understanding enhance business success in West Africa, Karine?
This one, I think John can help me a little bit in answering
Yes.
this because,
Okay.
yes, go
Yeah. So,
ahead, John.
in Africa, most businesses are relationship based. You need to have connection. You need to have the right connection. So this trade mission will help, businesses that will be part of the trade mission to get those connections, those, B2B networking, putting them with the right people, introducing them to the right people, because most businesses in Africa, the culture is that you need to know someone who can introduce you to someone else. So we are going to help those businesses, the participant, to get in connection with the right people.
You're muted, Karine.
John, do you want to share a little bit? I know there was an interesting thing. We were working with a partner earlier, and John was telling us that we should send hand delivered letters. And
Yes.
we at Mark we love doing emails, and he's like, no, we need to send hand delivered letters.
Yes, you know, sometime in the culture is different. For us being in the US for a while, we got a little bit the culture of the US, how things work here. But when we want to do business back in Africa, we need to shift our mind. We need to shift our mindset. And sometimes for a business who is just like located in the US that want to get introduced to the market in Africa, you need people who knows the market to introduce you into that market. Otherwise, you will not succeed into your project.
And
So
that
that's why
is
I was telling Karine that sending emails is good, but for the culture and everything, that the reality back in Africa is that you need to hand deliver some mail, like physical copies of those correspondence is so important.
Yes. So you have to know your market, and it's important to rely on those experts that do know the market that can make sure that you get the result that you need.
Definitely. And of course, like what John said about us, we've been here for so long and we're used to doing things a certain way. When we're going back home, we have to go back to our roots and now relearn how some of these things are done, because just making that face-to-face connection and hand delivering something to someone, you're already building that relationship there, versus just sending an email and expecting to get a response back. If the person does not know you, they don't know, they can't trust you. But when you are able to be introduced by someone else that they already know, then that trust is already being built and that relationship is already being built as well. So yes, that makes perfect sense.
Exactly. And that's why we do rely on our partners, on our partners in those countries. So even though Mark is leading this trade mission, we have partners in each country. John, do you want to tell them a little bit about our partners in those on the
Okay.
ground?
Yes, our partners are mainly like the chambers of commerce, and I think yesterday we just had a B2B Agora podcast with the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana, and those are one of our biggest partners, because you need you need institutions like the chambers to be able to reach out to the right people. So we have the chambers. We also work with government entities such as the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we also work with private entities that are also involved heavily into the trade market or into the commerce in general. So, uh, yes, Karin, I don't know if you want to add into that.
Absolutely. Those are key partners that we have in each country that we work with, and we'll be really happy to introduce them all to you during the Mark B2B Agoras that we'll be having every 2 weeks in the mornings. So stay tuned and follow us on our social media and on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, YouTube. Make sure you follow us at Midlands African Chamber so that you can find out from those partners exactly what they do and how they will be providing support during this trade mission. The trade mission is going to be from August 22nd to September 5th. Next slide, please.
All right. So, who's going to tell us about how much everything is going to cost in terms of trying to, really attend this conference, especially for us small business owners? I'm a small business owner myself, and we have to plan ahead of time for events like this in order to be able to benefit from them. So, John, do you want to tell us, how we need to prepare for this trip?
So how we need to prepare for this trip? I think first, we need to go. We have a lot of information in our website, the Midlands African Chamber website. You will have all the information, and you will get to also see what are the Q&As, the question and answer. Those will respond already to most of the concern that people might have. So, but to come back to how much a business need to for this trip, it's gonna be around 13,000 for double occupancy. You know, let's say if, but 14,000 for a single occupancy private accommodation. So double occupancy, we understand that it might be a couple, it might be a company sending two person, and they probably will be occupying one room. And for Mac members, we have $200 discount.
That's right. That's right. And for two people sharing a room, basically, the double occupancy means you have you have one room, two beds, or if it's a couple, one room, one bed, at your choice. But you still get, everything that's included. On the next slide, you have some of the details, Fidel. There you go. So you get what's included: economy round trip airfare, right? Accommodations, meaning hotels, transportation, most meals in terms of all the group activities, meals, drinks, everything is included for 2 weeks in all three countries. So what's not included? On the next slide. So visa fees and application costs are not included. So those you need to take care of. If you are having a private meal on your own, that will not be included. If you are trying to go on your own elsewhere on an excursion, that's not part of the excursions that are listed and planned for as a group activity. That's not included. If you want to travel in style and travel first class or business class, that is not included. But everything else is included in the price, and it should be a very good experience, very well curated by our experts here. And the space is limited to only 24 businesses, so you have to hurry. And the registration closes on May 30th. Fidel.
Awesome. Thank you, Karine. Well, I'm going to go back to a question that I have here that I think would be very beneficial to our audience to know about. What makes an effective business capability statement for African markets?
So one of the things that you have to put together when you are preparing for a trade mission, not only is a profile, so you have to fill out your business profile on the website, of course, when you sign up, so that we know what kind of businesses you are interested in meeting during the trade mission, what kind of businesses you want to be matched up with, what kind of partners you are interested in meeting, so that we can have the right people lined up for you so you can meet them, right? So we have a questionnaire for those participants that they need to fill out really quickly after they sign up, so that we can send those answers to our partners overseas, so that they can vet those businesses that they will be matched up with. okay, so that they can get the most bang for their buck, and be matched with really good, solid potential partners. And as part of the preparation for the trade mission, we also ask our participants to put together a capability statement so that when they meet people, they are able to provide their capability statement to highlight their company's strengths and past successes, their commitments to partnership and job creation, and how can their business meet the country that they are going to specific needs, and in terms of their sector, right? So let's say, you are in agriculture. Well, what exactly do you provide? Let's say you are a corn farmer. How much corn can you provide, or how much soybean can you produce, and can you deliver per year, if they want to order from you, and what are the time periods that you can provide this, what is your capacity for production for this, and how much demand could you meet, and then what would be a long-term sustainability strategy, or what type of partnerships are you looking for. So those are some of the things that you can put together in a strong
Thank,
capability statement.
awesome. Thank you for giving us that detailed overview of what is needed in terms of capability statement for African markets. Now to you, John. How can businesses prepare for the mission, and what role does digital transformation play in trade and investment?
Peter, can you repeat again that question?
Yeah, sure. How can businesses prepare for the mission trip, and what role does digital transformation play in trade and investment?
So digital, economy is booming in Africa and expected to grow by 180 billion by 2025. So that's an industry that is booming, and I think some investors might be interested in that sector. We also have the fintech, all the technology that is booming, the AI-driven technology that's also you know driving the future of the business in Africa. And to me, it's interesting for participants or for some companies here in the tech industry also to be looking at that sector. So, Karine, do you want to add something into that? Um,
No, I think you are right on the money. You are right on the money.
All right. Thank you both. As far as our itinerary is concerned, can you tell us a little bit more about, what countries are going to be visited? What is going to be done? What is the environment going to be like?
so
I'm
yeah,
excited to learn more.
yeah, no problem. I can take on that. So we are going to visit Ghana. We are going to visit Togo and Burkina Faso. First, we'll be landing in Ghana, and during the 3 days in Ghana, I believe we'll be meeting with chambers. We'll be meeting with yeah um, government officials. We'll be doing some visit to universities, hospitals, and some cultural spaces, like you know trying to also know the culture and get an immersion into Ghana. So from Ghana, we go to Burkina Faso on the 26th. And in Burkina Faso, we'll also be visiting and meeting with um, the chamber, some organizations like the APEX, like Agence pour la promotion des exportations. And we'll be meeting with the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of uh, Foreign Affairs, and the Bureau des Grands Projets Burkina. And we'll be visiting some places such as hospitals, universities, and uh, meeting with partners, like having some B2B meetings. So basically, that will be how the trip in Burkina Faso will be looking like.
I'm excited, John, about also visiting. So I'm excited about the business deals in Burkina Faso, but I'm also excited about visiting the Moro Naba Palace in
Yeah,
Ouedraogo,
yeah,
uh, and also the National Museum of Burkina Faso. I think that's going to be
absolutely,
really
absolutely.
cool to see that.
Yep. So we'll be visiting some cool places in Burkina Faso. Same thing in Ghana, and from Burkina Faso we go to Togo, and in Togo we'll be meeting with high level business networking. I mean, we'll be having some high level business networking sessions, exploring Togo free trade zone, meeting with government officials. Same thing that we'll be doing in on each country, and that's why it's so important for participants to be part of the trade mission, because you know they'll have the opportunity to meet directly with the high, government official on the highest level. We'll be visiting in Togo some agriculture, energy, and healthcare projects. Um, there will be also a special cultural and team building excursion to Palime.
To
So,
Panama,
yep,
yes, that's
to
where the
Palime.
cascade is. Yes, that's where the
Yeah,
cascade is. Yes, that's right. The
yep,
free trade zone in Togo. So Togo has one of the deepest seaports in West Africa. So our goal is to make sure that we are able to visit the port in Togo and also the free trade zone, so that the investors and the trade mission participants are able to understand the incentives that the Togolese government offers for investment in Togo. And then we'll have some cultural aspects as well, hopefully visiting the cultural festivals in Aneho, which is your home, Fidel, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and close to mine as well, and hopefully see the cascade in Palime, and the hotel in that of choice in Togo is right on the beach with John. You've seen the beach in Togo. What did
I
you
I
think?
did. That was amazing. That's an experience that I would love to live again.
Yes. And
Yes.
one of the focal points of the Ghana trip also will be to visit, to also visit there are two places that we will visit in Ghana, which will be in in the hold on, let me pull it up so that I don't say the name wrong.
No worries.
I don't want to say the name wrong. Let's see here. One moment. So I want to make sure. Okay. So in Ghana, we are going to be able to visit the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. And Kwame Nkrumah was Ghana's first president. The Web Du Bois Center, which celebrates Pan Africanism and Black heritage. And also go to the Elmina Castle, which is in Cape Coast and holds deep historical significance as a key site in the transatlantic slave trade. So this is where there is the infamous door of no return during the slave trade. And so that is a deeply historic place where people will be able to experience what the ancestors went through, and so that's a deeply significant place for those that that would like to visit that and really be welcome back home. Yes.
Yeah, this trade mission is not just going to be a trade mission on business, but there will be some history also in
Yes.
connection to that and some personal experiences. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope that I'm able to go because it will be fun. I wouldn't want to miss this opportunity. So here, next, what steps should businesses take after the mission to build lasting partnerships?
Okay, so I would say first, they just need to be part of the chamber, be part of Midlands African Chamber. And if they go to Ghana and they want to establish in Ghana, they would like to see how they can be part of the chamber over there. Same in Burkina Faso and in Togo. So being part of the chamber gives you a lot of leverage that you can use to ease your, you know, how you access the market where you want to invest in. So
Yes.
the next thing will be to do some follow-ups.
Yes.
Follow up with partners.
Yes.
Whoever they got in contact with, they can follow up with them. Or if they don't have the connection, they can still reach out to the chamber, and we can follow up for them and help them, reestablish the connection.
Absolutely.
They can also look for opportunities for grants and financing if they would like to execute some projects in Ghana, Togo, or Burkina Faso. Yeah, there might be some grants, some financing options helping them to establish their business. And like I said, it always come back to joining the chamber and still staying in contact with chamber for any needs. And that's why we are here for.
Thank you for highlighting that, John. It's very important. Follow up, especially, is very important. Not just following up, but following up with the right people and making sure that
You
you
know,
get what you're looking for. And sometimes you just have to be persistent, right?
Correct.
absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely, Fidel, you are right on the money. Follow up, follow up, follow up, stay engaged. And it's important to keep in touch with those partners, those local partners that we have, and also understand this is not a one-off thing. This may be the first official MAC trade mission, but this is something we plan to be doing year after year to various parts of the world. And so remain engaged, participate, and reach out to us. Reach out to those local chambers if you need help. And we trust them to know and to vet those partners for you rather than you just going on your own and just trusting somebody that you haven't vetted properly.
That's very important. Thank you for mentioning that. So to Karine, why is building global bridges one mission at a time with Africa important for Mac?
You know, Fidel, Africa is once again one of the fastest growing regions in terms of population, in terms of demand, and it cannot be ignored. There is an increased demand for US expertise. The US is trusted when it comes to know how, when it comes to being straightforward, when it comes to quality of product and trustworthiness, as opposed to other places like China. We do not really have the stigma of colonialism when it comes to France or the UK, for instance, in terms of relations or relationships with Africa. So we think those are all pluses that we can leverage when it comes to business. So by engaging with African markets, businesses in the US can certainly diversify revenue streams while fostering collaboration and investment in mutually beneficial opportunities. One word of caution I'll have though is to really approach the negotiation table with respect when we are going to Africa and approaching our partners with respect and really having mutual interests in mind so that we can build relationships with the long term in mind.
Thank you so much, Karine. That is very important. Respect it's a key word there. That part is very important because the way you talk to people, the way you address them, um, tells them a lot about you yourself, right?
Yes.
So it's definitely important that we jump on this trade mission with a lot of respect for ourselves and for the people that we are engaging with.
Yes.
Of course, in different countries there are different cultures, so we have to be mindful of the different cultural norms as well, so that we just know that this is a positive experience for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now let's discuss some potential funding sources.
Right, right. So that's one of the biggest questions that we get. Does Mark provide funding, John, for the trade mission? Is Mark providing funding, John?
So no, MAC does not provide funding, but we, there will be some resources that we can, refer people to, and they can explore some options of getting funding for their trip.
Right, that is right, Fidel. And so, one of the potential funding sources, or some of the potential funding sources, we have listed here for our viewers. So, the SBA State Trade Expansion Program, the STEP program, which Nebraska STEP program is administered by the DED, and you could go to the DED website to apply for the STEP program. It is worthy to note that the state STEP program has a limited budget. It is about $150,000 for the year. Um, for the year, yep. And you can scan this QR code here in order to apply. I really recommend that people do apply, that businesses do apply right away for this program. You have to have a product to apply for this, but it doesn't specify what kind of product. So you just need to have a product, any product to apply. So whatever it is that you sell, that can be labeled as a product, you could qualify for this. And so go ahead and apply as soon as possible. The sooner the better. And if this is a reimbursement grant, just so you know, it's a reimbursement grant. So that means you have to apply, you have to make the expenditures first, and then you get reimbursed for up to a certain amount. I believe one of them you could get reimbursed for up to $10,000, but you have to provide a budget for what you are spending on for attending trade missions, for attending trade shows, and you can apply year after year. So go ahead and apply again and apply again. So that's one that definitely businesses should consider applying for. Also, you can look into SBA loans to defray the cost of participation. You can look into small business innovation research and small business technology transfer programs. You can look into funding. So the you can look into so just let me go back a little bit. So the SBA offers various loan programs, including those designed to support international trade and export activities. The Small Business Innovation Research offers funding for small businesses engaged in research and development with the potential to commercialize new technology specifically. And then the EDA, the U.S. Economic Development Administration, offers funding for projects that support regional and national economic development, potentially including international trade initiatives. There used to be some funding through the MBDA, which is the Minority Business Development Agency, and that was assistance specifically for minority-owned businesses that may include support for some trade missions. But there was just recently an executive order from the Trump administration that is trying to dismantle that agency. And there was another one that was trying to also dismantle CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions. that offer small business financing and technical expertise, which could be also leveraged to support trade missions. You can also look through your state DD programs and see whether they have any grants, loans, or other incentives to support this. You can look also through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, see if there's some loans or some grants programs you can apply for. Your local chambers and see if there's any grants for businesses that you can apply for. And again, bootstrapping in the private sector, see if there's any crowdfunding that you can leverage. If this is a new venture that you are working on that requires international component to it, see if maybe some angel investors will finance you for that. There's also the Amber Grant that through Women's Net that awards grants to women-owned businesses across a number of different categories to help support operations that you could look into as a means of funding this. So I would say you will have to be creative in looking for funding sources for the trade mission. And to share my own experience in going on trade missions. When I did it, I did not have the cash initially, but I did it anyway, and I bootstrapped to do it initially. And while I did not, in terms of, okay, what do you get out of it, right? Were you able to get XYZ contracts right away by participating in that trade mission? Right away, when I did the first trade mission for my own business, for my law firm, I wasn't able to get a contract from those countries right away, but I gained so much in terms of networking, not only with the people that I met on the trade mission, but also the people I went on the trade mission with. And then I was able to get business from those people that I went on the trade mission with, much later. So it's a deep game, it's a long game, it's not instant gratification. So that's how I will quantify it, and I was able to make my investment over and over again. So that's what I'll share with you in terms of what my personal experience has been when it comes to trade missions.
Thank you very much for that invaluable insights, Corinne. It's good to hear firsthand from someone who has attended a mission trip like this before, especially for those small business owners who may not necessarily have any idea what this really entails, so they can also prepare themselves psychologically, and just knowing that, okay, I'm attending this. However, I'm not going, just like you said, that this is not an instant gratification type of deal. It's something that you are going to be cultivating. You have to cultivate those relationships and keep on going on these trips. So it's an investment. And for me, I feel like anything you invest in, whether it's time or money or resources, the more you invest in it, the more you'll get out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
All right. I know we've already discussed some of the next steps, but it's right here on the screen. You have to make sure that you register. You are a registered member of MAC, number one, so you can take advantage of that $200 discount, right? That's number one. And the deadline for registration is May 30th. So I hope everybody gets ready so they can go ahead and do that. And final payment deadline is July 1st. So when you go to register, there's also a deposit that you have to make to secure your spot. That's very important. So anyone who is interested in this trade mission, just keep those things in mind as you're getting yourself ready. And also make sure you complete the B2B questionnaire and upload your headshot and a short bio within 7 days. Very, very important, so that we can match you with the proper or the adequate businesses overseas for you to make sure that you come out of this with something positive.
Yes.
And make sure you prepare your business capability statements. Very
That's
important.
right. And they have some time for the business capability statement, so they can work on that. They also have, they can do a payment plan as well for this. So that's also helpful. And they can do that. So we have several options for people, but they have to register right away because registration will close on May 30th, but the space is only limited to 24 businesses. So if we reach that threshold before May 30th, it's going to close.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad we're able to go over all of this. This is our last slide here. I just want to take a couple of minutes to just thank you both for joining me on Power Hour today. This was very enlightening and very, very informative. I'm really excited. If anybody's excited, I am. I'm ready to go on this trade mission. So
Yes.
Yeah,
How
it'll be
about some
exciting.
audience questions? Do we have any audience questions, Fidel?
no, we do not have any audience questions. I've checked the chat. There are no questions in there. It was just Martine that says hello.
Oh,
I know
hi,
I'm not
Martin.
yes, I'm not sure she's still watching, but yes.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
we're almost at the end
Right.
here of our Power Hour. So thank you all so much for joining. I do have a few announcements before we close.
Oh,
The very
yeah.
first announcement is our Mac Foundation Scholarship. The Mac Foundation Scholarship applications is open until March 30th. So make sure you encourage anyone that you know, whether they're high school seniors or college students in undergrad or graduate levels. Please encourage them all to visit our website at www.fundmac.org to submit their application. Next is our Gratitude Gala nominations. Nominations for the MAC 2025 Gratitude Awards are open through July 31st. You guys have seen all the great business owners and organizations that are doing great work and impacting our community that were selected at the 2024 Gratitude Gala. So please make sure you visit our website again at fundmac.org to submit those nominations before it is too late. We still have time, but the sooner we do it, the better. Our next Power Hour will be on Thursday, April 17th, and we will be focusing on financial forecasting that day. And my host is going to be Jim Rafe with NEF. And last but not least, Pitch Black. Our Pitch Black conference and tech showcase is going to be on June 29th this year.
June
Oh,
20th.
June 27th. June 27th. And it is a Friday. It's no longer going to be on a Saturday. So it is a Friday. That will give a lot of people the opportunity to actually join us and take part of this exciting opportunity. Make sure you visit our website at wepitchblack.com and grab your early bird tickets before they go out.
Wait, we cannot wait. Get your
Nope.
tickets, get your tickets. It's gonna be huge. We're turning 5.
Yeah, it's our year 5 anniversary. So this is going to be big. It's going to be a big celebration for us and also for our Pitch Black finalists and anyone who's attending. It's going to be great. So stay connected with us through our website and our social media platforms so that you can get updates on these and other events that we have. Your participation helps us to build a very strong and more vibrant community. Karine and John, thank you so much again for sharing your insights and expertise with us today. I am sure our members will find this information extremely valuable as they prepare for the MAC trade mission to West Africa. Thank you to our audience for joining us for this Power Hour Business Development Virtual Live stream presented by Google. We hope you found this discussion as enlightening as we did. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Fidel.
Thank you, John. You
Thank you,
guys,
Karine.
yes, you guys
Yeah,
sign up today. Go to www.midlandsafricanchamber.com and sign up to join us on the trade mission to West Africa.
All
Awesome.
right. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure being on that Power Hour.
Likewise, it was great having you, John and Karine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. Okay.